Hello, this is going to be my post-mortem of my Lancer level. To begin with, I'm literally just going to run through the level and then I'll go into some specifics afterwards. I'll be talking through the level. I got a couple of notes here. Things I just want to touch on. So I'll just get started now. Oh, small.
There it is.
I actually had a voiceover for this originally, but the voice wasn't quite what I had envisioned, so I still have to let the guy know that I wasn't going to end up using it. Anyways, you spawn in this little room here, and there's like this little vent that's meant to indicate that this is where your player has come down from. Obviously you had the like cutscene stuff at the beginning where your camera was like looking down and looking back up, trying to like give it a little bit of story, a little bit of character. Like this Lancer fellow is like trapped in this loop or something like that. I don't know. I had like a rough story written down on a blank piece of paper, not blank, but piece of paper somewhere, and I don't remember what the specifics were, but yeah, just give it a bit of character. This room here is meant to be like a spider charging bay and storage room. You have a couple of spiders hooked up to the power lines coming through here. And the mouse bugged out. There we go. I get a fun little poster. I like to put these in like all my projects now. It's just random little posters relating to the game because I think they're funny. Machines need rest too. Get your charge in. It's like one of the Nike posters. I'm wasting time here. There's meant to be a noisemaker here. I think it is here. I think it just isn't making enough noise to like actually be heard. And there's a bunch of little things like that that I wanted to change, but I couldn't remember how to change them or which ones to change, because by the time I figured out how to fix them, there were lots. Because time was running out, and it is still running out. Anyways, scroll wheel up, equip a pistol. I didn't have it like equip itself on spawn, although I wish I did. I probably could have done that by doing what I do later. As a bit of a shortcut, which I'll show in a little bit. We have doors and a working mechanical system. Quest system. It's still very bare bones. I didn't expand upon it too much because like the stuff that I wanted to do, I again didn't have time. Overscoping is my bane yet again. So there's a small tunnel that leads towards this broken door here that just doesn't lead anywhere, and I try to signify that by like a lack of lights and like a frayed wire, and I use this frayed wire with this same like sparking effect in quite a few places, and then just this little thing. This is your first look at an enemy as well, and I based him specifically in a direction where he's unable to detect you, so that players won't get like murked by him. But essentially, he is one of the explosive spiders, and he has infinite explosive range, but it does very little damage. Very annoying. Didn't know how to fix it, but blowing him up causes this to break open, which allows players to find their way through. So doors start finding another way around. Quest leads onward, and they're now inside of the vents. Now, this is the first place I really wanted to explore verticality with, because all the previous games and modules have been kind of horizontal, like I've not really gotten the chance to. I kind of did in my mechanics where I had like this wall jump mechanic, but instead I'm doing this thing where normally a single jump isn't high enough, so this incentivizes players to figure out how to jump up. So pushing jump again gives you a second jump in the air, and it doesn't go forever, it's only once. I was going to add a HUD element for it, and I don't have time to, but it would look pretty. Moving onward up the vent, there's this like larger vent area that gets condensed down into a smaller vent area. I remembered that I wanted this actually to be like a much larger and longer zone. I've played a lot of games like Destiny and Halo, but they have a lot of these kind of, like Bungie really likes to do a lot of these like bigger zones into smaller zones, and like off the beaten path kind of ways. And again, keeping up with that, I wanted to have like secrets all around the map. So it was either going to be on that end where I put a secret like at the end there, or one up here, and I decided to go with one up here. But with the lighting changes, you can't see anything, so I added these little pieces over here, these little trim lights. That then leads you over to this little guy who's carrying this gun, and although there's no like pickup like how there was before, you can just pick it up off of him. Because there is a pickup, it's just invisible. That's what I was talking about earlier back down in the spawn room. Like you could just have the pistol and then just have it underneath where the player spawns in. I'm going to go back to the spawn room after I play through this once already. So continuing onwards, you have the first like major hallway with a bunch of enemies. I spent a while making their sound effects and making sure they like actually shoot at you and kill you, which they do, and then you spawn and come back. I need to kill them. There you go. Okay. And it like gives you your first window into the outside. Like you see it in the intro, but you don't really get to like sit down and just look at it for a bit. I spent a long time trying to figure out how to do skyboxes in my last module, so I figured that I wanted to learn how to do it in this one. There's a bunch of lighting errors. I'll get back to that in a sec. Again, pause. That was a nice little particle effect. I don't really like these AI, to be honest. Like, I worked with them the best that I could. But I would have definitely preferred them being a lot more aggressive. And I didn't know how to do that, but... Like, you see this guy, like, he starts shooting at me once, and then he kind of loses his mind. There's a lot of... I'm very critical here. There's a lot of things I'm not very happy with in this level. But that's something that is worth talking about, I think. Anyways, they all got these like on death sounds, and I made a bunch of sound effects that I do want to talk about. But I also like put a lot of effort into like the positioning of these windows and the views that they got, like those little planetoids down there and the 4 different stars, 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th one over there. And the lighting on the outside of the ship, which I think I probably should put less effort into, considering you're inside for the majority of the level. So this is the hangar bay, and I have like a bunch of these like fighter ships, just locked in, being worked on by the different bots along the walls, and all of these like orange force fields. They're meant to look quite menacing. They give off that really like powerful glow, and obviously you see at the top right, big room, try not to fall. Which kind of, signals don't die. Because if you do fall down, you will just die in the It's fine. Unlike a lot of these other shooters that I've been looking at, dying doesn't set you back quite that far. When I was making the like level, I was thinking, do I have them die and have everything respawn and then go back, like loading a save state for a level, similar to how Halo does it? Or do I do what I do here, where you just die and get sent back, similar to how Destiny or... What's the other one that does it? Is it Ultra Kill? I don't know. I looked at a couple of other ones. But you press onwards, and then again you got all these like quest markers showing you where the next location to go is. But I also, again, like doing those little things that are secrets and all that, so you don't have to go there. Instead, I put these platforms here to kind of show players a way up. It isn't the only way up, you can also climb up that, but jumping over, hello, you can go along the wires and up to the top, and not only will you find the ammo for the heavy pistol over there, but you'll also find the only other weapon in the game called the light rifle, which is this little like SMG. A nice little sound effect for it. all of the weapons, like, obviously have these models that I've made for them. They're just pieces of, like, different ship parts put together. I did go through and duplicate a lot of the meshes and change their UV mappings because I wanted, like, different colors and different things that wasn't there in the module already. So continuing onwards, down the next layer, you would have just hit a checkpoint coming down through the elevator shaft here as well. So if I do jump down there, I'll show you in a second. There's two paths to go here. There's the one on the right, which has patrols from 2 spider bots and a mech. But there's also a path on the left, and the path on the left I think is more dangerous because of the 3 turrets that are on this side. So there's one over there, there's one here that's now looking at me, and I think getting ready to target me. Yeah. Thankfully they have terrible aim and projectile speed. But the goal of this section was to kind of, you know, let players see and plan their next move from the layer above. So like down here, you can see all the enemies, but you can't hit them. Oh, crap. You coming to me? Oh, you gave up. You ran past the nav mesh. Alright, unlucky. Yes, like you can see them, but you can't shoot them. And they can see you, but they can't shoot you, because that would be really annoying. And I think unfair, but again, there's the last time. Carrying on after players have made their choice on which way to go, because I have a choice. You get down to the bottom floor, which still like has danger if you fall down, because you can fall out of the map, fall through the, like, what are they called in Star Wars, where they have the where did he? Oh. They have the, like, force fields down here. I think they're called. Yeah, there's just one down there for, like, the ships to come and go through. And if you take a look down there, you'll notice that some of the ships are actually hovering outside. I wanted to add, like, a, how do I call it? In After Effects, there is a asset or a style or a transition, I don't remember what it is. It's like an overlay for anything that you have in there, including 3D objects, which lets them like wiggle around near a fixed location. I think it's called Wigglorama. And I wanted to have something like that with them, but I didn't know how to make it, and I looked it up online, and I couldn't find anyone else who knew how to make it either, unless I was just using a sequence, in which case it wouldn't be random. So I want to look it up again later and try to figure out how it is to do that, but again, following the same kind of structure as before. Ammo in the location, somewhat hidden. I actually like show that there's like pathways that you can go here using these broken fences. This time, I think there's another one on the floor above. Yeah, you can see it up there. I kind of forgot to show it off. But I don't know. You don't want to show me? I think it's a nav mesh problem. Yeah. Again, there's meant to be a bunch more like sounds and noisemakers. There's meant to be a kind of really low ambience here, and I think that I just made it too quiet because I forgot or didn't know that I needed to turn like all my sound up, because I have this little volume control on my microphone, and I plug my headphones in through my microphone, so all the like output is increased. So I just keep everything really quiet to not blast my eardrums out. And I think that kind of shot me in the foot. It did last time as well. I just never got around to changing or fixing it. Another one of those secrets here. And I'm gonna go through and fight the final boss. So the quest is to steal data from for employer, and then you have to lead it into the server room there. So going through, you know, in the server room, and you have the boss, he's just like watching over the servers. And you have the actual server room themselves. Just these lovely greebles, I think they're called. And like a pathway that you can just sneak up and around. I wanted to have the initial idea for the boss was that I was going to have this thing called the I can actually pull them up here, the Daedalus cube. Daedalus, here we are. So I'll just go SM Daedalus cube. So this guy was going to like go up, and he was going to use that same wigglorama thing and like start like spinning around whenever he starts shooting. And I wanted to have like an invisible shooter thing. I can't remember what it's called. It's probably find it if I just look up mech. Mimic. Where's Mimic? Oh, I can't find it. Alrighty. Open characters, enemies, variants. Yeah, this one will have it. So they got the weapon variants, and they have enemy weapon, right? And I was gonna have that just be attached to the cube, so he starts spinning around and shooting, and then when you bring him down to certain levels of HP, he puts his shield up, and one of these servers in here will start glowing like a violent red, and then that server is vulnerable. When you shoot and break that server, the boss's shield goes down. You can continue on. It's just like a bullet sponge boss, but with a slight mechanic. Instead, I just have a bullet sponge boss, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. But I worked and did what I could with him. So he's got a bit of sound to him, and then you'll see when he like puts his legs up in the air, that that attack, he does that sound, and then he prepares to shoot, and then he shoots. I'm just gonna kill him. His bullets are very lethal as well, so the goal is to not be shot by him. But he doesn't shoot enough to make it really like dangerous. Yeah, and then you have the outro cutscene. And Arthur flies away, fade to black. Awesome level. And then, yeah. So, I'm gonna kind of go through this again. Yeah, this is something I want to talk about in a sec as well. The AI and all that. Nothing wrong with the animation blueprint. I just didn't go through and put is valid nodes in all of them. Probably should have. Oh well. So I've gone over the talk over of the level. So now I need to take a look at the level design. So if I go into here, this is where the actual level is housed. So you have the start here where the player spawns in. And again, you can see like I have all these noisemakers, but they're just not making the sound. I think that might be because of the concurrency settings. Up farthest then oldest. Maybe not. Maybe it's because of the actual sound settings here. Oh. What are you wearing? If I check this, will it work? Yes. So it's just a bit quiet. Teleported. Okay, so carrying onward, I had the start room, and then I had the room where I wanted to explore verticality. And then carrying onwards, I had this first hallway into a second hallway with a bend, and then this is the kind of highlight of the level design. I spent a lot of time like meshing these walls and trying to figure out how I wanted to like modify them, because initially the floor plan was literally just these like platforms, like platform 1, platform 2, platform 3, and then the start platform. And I knew that I wanted to do a higher area on top of that, and possibly like with enemies shooting down. But because of the limitations of these enemies, I wasn't able to like do that. I think I probably could have done something differently with the AI perception nodes and have them like shoot if they see them at the target, and then just give them like slightly faster or slower projectiles if I wanted a bullet hell. Pardon me. And I also wanted to change these crates all out for actors instead of static mesh, because although they're movable and they can be moved around, I wanted them to be able to disintegrate on coming into contact with the force field. So you like look down, push them off, and then they just like dissipate, like in Portal, whenever you like disintegrate stuff. But moving quickly onwards, because I'm running out of time and my mouth is dry. Elevator, yay. Forward, you can see all of these like parts. I wanted the platforms all to be connected to something, so they didn't look like they were just floating out in the air, including like these side platforms. I still wanted them to be connected to like walls and things and not just be floating. My exception was this one, and I think this one, yeah. The ones that were working on something, I wanted them to be floating, but I wanted to have like the launch pad visual effect beneath them, but I didn't get around to putting it in. Again, I'm out of time. I still have another module to work on, and I've not slept in 3 days. That's not true. I have. I'm just tired. Yeah, that's the room. Shortcuts. There are a lot. For starters, I wanted to do more with the music. I considered making my own music for it, because sound design, I'm now realizing the more that I use it, it's so much more powerful than I ever could have like imagined. This song that does play is from Noita. It is I forgot it only plays from the sequence. It's from Noita. It's like this very mechanical and erratic song, I want to say. And the goal was to make this feel like a very mechanically dominated space. Like it's full of like these robots that are intelligent with like almost life. And I have more to cover on that, because if I go into sounds and then I can go into boss robot, I had a bunch of sound effects and like voices that I made similar to the like intro cinematic where I had, I think it was here. Yeah, so Sentinel 2.
There it is.
It's a bunch of different voices, because I imagined Sentinel, because I wanted Sentinel to be the main eventual antagonist of this story, in which there's only a single level, sadly. I wanted him to kind of be like this ridiculously intelligent but annoying character. Initially, I wanted him to be a bit more like Handsome Jack from Borderlands, which Sam Moss did a fantastic voiceover or voice lines for me here.
There it is.
And I added a bit crunch effect to make it sound like he's like getting a hollow message, and I wanted it to be like in the intro cinematic that plays. If I just pull that up here real quick. So he was going to have a hologram at the top left of like Sentinel just sitting in a chair or something. And I do have the static mesh in here somewhere. I think he's, yeah, here he is. With his little sit animation. He's in red now because he's bad, he's evil. Grr. But I was gonna have that like got pizza on the way. Brilliant. Sorted. Right. I wanted to have like all of these different voice lines for when the robot is attacking you, so
target sighted, executing deletion protocol, modifying stratagems.
So the whole idea of Daedalus was this like creature that was looking after all of this information, and initially like, because when I'm making a story, I like to just kind of write random things on paper, you know, roll a dice to see which one I get. And the one I got was the Tower of Babel. So my initial plan for this was to have like two massive conjoined towers floating through space, like paired to the ship, like through a dock, like here-ish, and having a massive library, because I thought the contrast between all this technological stuff, like the force fields, the floating ships, and a spaceship orbiting a star with a bunch of like these rings. I was considering having this around the star, like a Dyson sphere. But I thought that might be too much. And then having this like massive structure filled with like physical books. I thought the contrast between technology and like old technology to be quite amusing, but I couldn't really I couldn't really like capture that properly, which was really annoying. But I ended up going with the server room because I wanted to have that server mechanic, and then I again didn't have time or the know-how to be able to make the boss properly the way that I wanted to, which was a bit of a letdown. But realistically, that's something that I can work on. I want to learn more about AI systems and how to actually use that. Like in games, because the majority of things that move on their own and decide what they're doing are powered by a specific kind of AI, depending on whether it's a state tree or whatever. Then we have all the other sound effects, because I, again, put a lot of time into the sound design. So I have a shuffle, I have the blinking, I have a zoom in and a zoom out, and then I also have this. This is the sound effect that plays when it is like getting ready to shoot at you. And then that and that as the robot death sounds for the rest of the robots. But this one specifically has, I need to turn this down in advance because it is quite loud. This. And that plays in amongst a bunch of other things, which we can check out here. So it plays gear shuffle into this one. And then the robot death sound that we just heard just a second ago. But going back over into it, I have a bunch of ambience sound effects that I've found online. There's so many like space sound effects that people have made, like different ambiences, like and they're really really cool. Like this one, I think is the kind of wavy. Yeah, it's like a crashing of like a solar wave. It's awesome. But I had that like lined, here we are. I had that down here, and yeah, space ambience. So when you get close to the bottom, like if you look down, I wanted to have like these, I didn't know how to make it. I know I could probably do it using a volumetric fog. Having like these winds that go through here, or like past, could probably do that using a texture, or like a, yeah, like a plane with a texture. And like having this massive wave of like solar energy coming from that star over there. I wanted to put more emphasis on this star, considering that the ship crashes into it at the end, but I digress. It's quite loud. Yeah, I think that covers sound. Yeah, I wanted to cover a lot of the bugs. I think I've talked about them a little bit already. Like there was a lot of issues with them not being able to shoot you. They're just not aggressive enough. And then yeah, and then I couldn't do that guy properly. I had worked for almost 2 hours when I was doing the meshing, and I got to this point here before doing this when I had the 2 towers, and my engine crashed out of nowhere. And I crashed, I think, 4 times, and I've now made a habit of saving like every couple of seconds when I'm working, to the point where it's actually slowing me down, I think. But it's fine. Another thing is that my mouse broke while I was meshing, so I couldn't click and hold for very long. So I could maybe click and hold for like a split second, so I'd like drag this out, and it would immediately unselect, select the background, and like just move me like miles over here. Just select it, like it turns, right? If you alt select when you're duplicating something, you move like this. So it would just go, nope. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of errors was packaging. And I believe it is because of the AI perception here. I think there's something wrong with it. I don't know if maybe it's because we're on that brand new version of Unreal 5.4 or whatnot, because it isn't working in my other module where I also use AI perception on a character here, but I don't know. I was going to be getting some feedback like last week, and I simply wasn't able to get like the online feedback, so I was going to package it and send it out to a bunch of people. Wasn't able to get that feedback, so I feel like I've lost something valuable, which is kind of annoying. But it is what it is. You know, we can't always get it to work. So instead of doing that for my recordings and things, I found that if you right click and go show more options, you can launch the game just like that. And it's essentially the same as if it was packaged. You'll see here, it just loads up and then it loads up to the menu the same way that it would happen if I had clicked like launch exe. It just does the same thing. And it will play the same way. See how it's my most recent save though. Kind of annoying, but you know, it is what it is. Anyways, that is my post-mortem. Sorry, it ran kind of long. I would do chapters in the YouTube video. However, because I am also uploading this, I will not be doing that, and I have more work that I need to do after this. So, thank you for watching. I know I kind of rambled. I kind of only wanted to hit these notes, and then I ran over time by quite a lot, so unlucky me, I guess. But I did want to kind of cover some of the stuff that I felt like I was missing out on, and the stuff that I wanted to do but couldn't. Anyways, thank you. Hope you have a good rest of your morning or night. Okay, bye.